Hello, everybody. This is Jay Baker. I am in Seattle, Washington. And so I was thinking today about judgment and what it means to be a Christian, and how during a politically heated time, especially during like a presidential race, a lot of people seem to be really good at telling who's a Christian and who's not a Christian. And what's really wild is that it often goes with who you're voting for is who you're a Christian. If you believe a candidate or think of a candidate, then maybe makes you a genuine Christian or not a Christian at all. Now, I'm going to fill you in on something that I don't think politics is a really good way to rate who's a Christian, who's not a Christian. You know, I have my partiality to somebody I like, but, bombs are bombs, if that makes sense. But I often see people scapegoating people. Now, when I was younger, I worked at a Christian television station for a little while, at a Christian television station, Evangelical Christians. And it was during the time that Bill Clinton was running for office. And you'd hear people say, you can't be a Democrat and be a Christian. Bill Clinton's the Antichrist. I mean, you always hear that kind of stuff. And the wild thing is now I'm starting to see some of people on the left, my progressive brothers and sisters, being like, you can't be a Christian and vote this way and think this way. And to me, it's kind of an insult to the human mind and to nuances. We can vote certain ways. We can vote ways where we disagree with people. We can vote for bad people at times. I think we've all been there, at least at a time or two, where we've gone, they did that, But the nuances of people, I've seen people who voted very differently than me feed the homeless, visit the prisoners, give a drink to the thirsty, go to we've seen this time and time again. And so how we judge someone's salvation and if they get Jesus becomes to be these real broad strokes. And I think we get so focused on the groups of people, like this group is bad and this group is good, that we forget the individual and we forget the nuances that individuals have and how people love. And that some of us, probably all of us in some part of our lives are victims victims of misinformation, victims of lies and not truths. But for us to come along and say, well, you're not really a Christian because you don't think the way I do. I mean, one, it sounds arrogant. And it continues to divide us. We just continue to stay divided and we're not having conversations. It's a shutdowner. If someone's like, you're going to hell, blah, 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 conversation shut down. And so I'm hoping to encourage some of you leaders out there, especially my progressive brothers and sisters, to not follow suit with this type of thing. And rather than that, just say, hey, some people are misguided. If you're reading this way or thinking this way or voting this way, maybe you're misguided. But saying you're not a Christian. I mean, Paul said that some people were fake believers who were trying to force people to be circumcised. But he also said man's no respecter of man, and he never said who those people necessarily were. Matthew, I think Jesus is not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of God. But it never tells us where those people are. I mean, the Bible does say they will know you by your love for one another. And Jesus did say you've got to love everybody, including your enemies. So I think that's something for us to focus on and realize that we're not the judges, the end-all judges, and language like that is just there to continue to divide us and separate us. And usually the person saying it is saying, my ideas of Christianity are the true identities of Christianity. Your ideas are the wrong ideas based on a politician. That doesn't seem to really play a lot in the Bible verses. I remember that the political views causes us. I mean, Jesus had a zealot and a tax collector. So anyway, that's something to think about. Yes, Jesus and Paul both rebuked Pharisees. Brood of vipers and things like that. It doesn't mean that we can disagree. It doesn't mean that we can't get angry. It doesn't mean that we can't have tough conversations. But just judging people with broad strokes is not opening the world. It's not going to change the world. It's just going to continue to divide us. I feel like the only thing you can really use a broad stroke is grace. And that's just saying you all are accepted, you are loved, you are that, and helping people start on a journey of realizing that they are reconciled. Because sometimes misinformation or sometimes angry thinking comes from personal pain and hurt. And how can we do that? We help by having conversations and talking to other, and not making false claims or acting as though we are the final judge or somehow have all the judgment to judge others. Anyway, I know it's a bit inside baseball, but that was my thought today. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you around.